3 cars. Mechanics quietly buy them for their own families. They don't recommend them to customers. They buy them for themselves. That's the difference that matters. When a mechanic spends their own money they earned fixing everyone else's mistakes, that's the most honest endorsement in the automotive world. And there are 3 specific cars that keep showing up in mechanics' personal driveways year after year, while regular buyers walk right past them on used car lots. Why? Because most people buying used cars right now are making the same $5,000 mistake. They walk onto a lot. A salesperson steers them toward the familiar names, the safe choices, the cars everyone knows, and they drive home thinking they made a smart decision. They didn't. Because sitting on that same lot, usually in the back row, barely washed, with a price tag that almost seems too low, are 3 vehicles that mechanics have been quietly scooping up for years. Not to flip, not to part out, to drive, daily, for their own families. I've been turning wrenches professionally for 22 years. I've worked on thousands of cars. I've seen which engines self-destruct at 90,000 miles, the ones that make me rich. And I've seen which engines are still running clean at 350,000 miles, the ones I wish every car had, because they never come back with problems. I've watched customers overpay for German badge prestige while 3 genuinely bulletproof cars sit completely overlooked. Not because they're flawed, because of something far more irrational. Badge perception, average buyer age, outdated internet reputation from a decade ago. That's it. That's the entire reason these cars are underpriced right now. And that's your window. Today, I'm giving you the complete breakdown on all 3. The real mechanical story nobody talks about outside the shop. The price comparisons that will genuinely make you angry when you see how much money people waste. Exactly what to inspect before you buy, so you don't end up with someone else's neglected problem. And a straight answer on who each car is right for stressors and who should skip it entirely. We'll spend the most time on number 1. Because that car carries a secret the used car market still hasn't figured out. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why I've recommended it more than any other car in the last 5 years. And why I currently own one myself with 188,000 miles that has cost me almost nothing. Let's get into it. Car number 3. The German-engineered sleeper Buick Regal 2.0T, 2014 to 2017. Every mechanic has a car they quietly enjoy seeing on the service schedule. For me, one of those is the 2014 to 2017 Buick Regal 2.0 Turbo. Not because it's a goldmine of repair revenue, because the complete opposite is true. These things barely need anything, and when they finally do, the parts are cheap and the labor is straightforward. Right now, you can buy a clean one for $8,000 to $11,000. Here's why that number is absurd, given what you're actually getting. About 14 months ago, a 28-year-old came into my shop wanting a pre-purchase inspection on a 2014 BMW 328i. The car had 87,000 miles. The dealer was asking $14,500. He was excited. I could see it in how he talked about the car. So I did my job. I pulled the maintenance history, got the car on the lift, ran full diagnostics, then I sat him down and told him the truth he needed to hear. You're about to spend $14,500 on a car that needs $3,500 to $4,000 in repairs before next winter. Cooling system components failing, suspension bushings worn through, oil leaks developing at the valve cover and oil filter housing gasket. The classic BMW aging pattern I've seen hundreds of times. He deflated immediately. Then he asked me the question I was hoping he'd ask. What would you buy instead? I opened AutoTrader on my phone right there and showed him a 2015 Buick Regal 2.0 Turbo, 62,000 miles, $8,900. Same turbocharged performance feel as the BMW. Dramatically better reliability track record, and $5,600 cheaper before you even account for the repairs he was dodging. He bought it. Want to know his total unexpected repair bill over the following 14 months? $47. An engine air filter. That is the complete list. Oil changes don't count. Every car needs those. The engineering secret. Now, here's the part most buyers never know, and it's the reason this car is genuinely special underneath its ignored badge. The Regal isn't a typical American car in any meaningful engineering sense. GM developed this generation in partnership with Opel in Germany, and the platform is called Epsilon 2. The same architecture underneath the Cadillac XTS and certain Chevrolet Malibus. The engine is GM's LTG 2.0-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, which won multiple industry awards for refinement and efficiency. And the transmission, Aisin 6-speed automatic. Aisin is a Japanese supplier, the same company that builds gearboxes for Toyota and Lexus. This is Toyota supplier transmission reliability hiding inside a Buick badge that younger buyers won't look twice at. German-engineered platform, award-winning turbo engine, Toyota supplier transmission, all of it priced at $9,000 instead of $15,000 purely because it wears an American badge. Let me show you where the value gap becomes undeniable. Timing chain replacement on a Regal 2.0 turbo runs approximately $1,100 at my shop. On a BMW 328i with the N20 turbocharged engine, that same job costs a minimum of $2,800, sometimes $3,500 if other components need attention while we're in there. Turbo replacement on the Regal takes me roughly 3 billable shop hours. The turbo on a BMW N20 is buried so deep in the engine bay that labor alone, before a single part is purchased, runs $2,200 to $3,200 depending on the shop. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between an inconvenience and a financial crisis. Critical pre-purchase checks. 3 things to inspect before you buy. First, PCV valve update. Early 2014 models had an oil consumption issue related to the PCV valve design. GM released an updated part, and most examples on the market today have already had it replaced under warranty. If the previous owner already swapped it, move forward without concern. If not, factor in the fix. It's inexpensive, but it tells you something about how attentive the previous owner was. Second, turbo inlet pipe. This is a plastic pipe that connects the turbo to the intake. On high mileage examples, it can develop cracks. The part costs $90 and takes 20 minutes to replace, so the repair itself is nothing. What matters is what a cracked pipe signals, that the previous owner was neglectful. Use it as a negotiating point and a reason to dig deeper into maintenance records. Third, touchscreen response. Test every function of the infotainment system during your test drive. Some units develop sluggish touchscreen response over time. It's purely cosmetic in terms of mechanical reliability, but it's a $400 to $600 repair if you want it fixed, and it's worth knowing about before you shake hands on a price. The honest verdict. The Regal's value proposition is simple and undeniable. You get a near-luxury driving experience with genuinely robust mechanical underpinnings and repair bills that stay almost non-existent. The only reason it's priced like a forgotten car is because the market doesn't understand what it actually is. Younger buyers see the Buick badge and assume it's their grandfather's car. Older buyers who might appreciate the comfort are trading up to crossovers. You're buying in the gap where nobody's paying attention. Street price today, $8,000 to $11,000. German platform, Toyota supplier transmission, award-winning turbo engine. Car number 2, the depreciation anomaly. Mazda 6, Skyactiv 2.5, 2014 to 2018. If the Regal is underrated, the Mazda 6 might be the single most unjustly ignored reliable midsize sedan on the American used market right now. Its depreciation curve makes no logical sense relative to its actual reliability record. And that disconnect is exactly where your opportunity lives. The pattern I keep seeing. I've been watching this same story repeat for years. Every time a Mazda 6 comes into my shop for service, I almost walk away empty-handed. No leaks, no worn-out suspension components, nothing unusual anywhere in the underbody or drivetrain. The service visits are oil changes, brake pads, and tires. That's essentially the complete maintenance story on most of these cars. Last month, a customer brought in his 2016 Mazda 6 with 167,000 miles. He'd owned it from new and wanted an honest assessment of what major expenses were approaching. I put it on the lift, went through the full suspension, inspected the brakes, checked every seal and gasket in the underbody, pulled the transmission fluid sample, ran complete computer diagnostics. I found nothing wrong with it, not a single item of concern. The original spark plugs were still within specification at 167,000 miles. I told him to bring it back in another 30,000 miles for the next check. He stared at me like I was joking. I get that reaction regularly with these cars, and it never gets old. The engineering that nobody talks about Mazda made a deliberate choice with the Skyactiv generation that most people never hear discussed outside of engineering circles. They prioritize mechanical simplicity and long-term durability over feature complexity and maximum horsepower. The Skyactiv G 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine uses a timing chain rather than a belt, which means no expensive replacement interval looming at 90,000 or 105,000 miles like Honda and Toyota. The 6-speed automatic transmission is Mazda's own proven Skyactiv drive design. No CVT reliability concerns, no dual-clutch temperament issues, just a smooth, durable, conventional automatic gearbox that has proven itself across hundreds of thousands of miles in real-world use. Here's a technical detail that tends to surprise people. The Skyactiv G 2.5 runs a 13.0:1 compression ratio. For context, that's higher than many purpose-built performance engines. The engineering achievement here is that Mazda used that high compression to deliver excellent fuel economy, 28 city/37 highway EPA, without sacrificing long-term durability. They found a way to get efficiency and longevity simultaneously, something most manufacturers either can't or won't do because it requires more expensive materials and tighter tolerances. The absurd market reality. Now look at the pricing, because this is where it becomes difficult to justify buying anything else in the midsize sedan segment. A 2017 Mazda 6 Touring with 70,000 miles is selling for $12,000 to $14,000 right now. A same-year Toyota Camry SE with comparable miles, $17,000 to $19,000. That's a $5,000 premium for the Toyota badge on a car that, based on my 2 decades of hands-on shop experience, costs more to maintain over time than the Mazda. The Mazda loses on name recognition. It wins on nearly everything that actually matters to your wallet. The most expensive repair I have ever performed on a Skyactiv Mazda 6 was a water pump replacement at 140,000 miles. Total bill for parts and labor, $680. The average unplanned repair on a same-age Honda Accord runs $1,100 to $1,300. That gap compounds over years of ownership into a very real financial number. Critical pre-purchase checks. 2 things to specifically check on your test drive. First, infotainment controller feel. Get your hand on the rotary controller for the touchscreen. If it feels loose or has gritty, sticky resistance when you rotate it, that owner was rough with their controls, and probably rough with everything else too. It's not a deal breaker on its own, but it's a window into how the car was treated overall. Second, highway coast down vibration test. Take it onto the highway and get up to 55 to 60 miles per hour. Then take your foot completely off the gas and coast down to about 45 miles per hour. Any vibration or shudder through the drivetrain during that coast down is a sign the motor mounts are worn. It's a known issue on 2014 to 2016 models specifically. Runs about $350 to $450 to correct with aftermarket mounts, and is a legitimate reason to negotiate the price down $300 to $400 if the seller won't budge. One more item. 2014 and 2015 models had documented paint adhesion issues around the hood and trunk edges in hot climates. Look for bubbling or lifting clear coat. Mazda extended warranty coverage on this specific defect through a special adjustment program, so confirm whether it was addressed before you buy. Who this car is right for. If you want something genuinely fun to drive without sacrificing practicality, the Mazda 6 handles better than anything else in the midsize category. And it's not even a close comparison. The steering is weighted perfectly. The chassis is balanced. The brakes are confidence-inspiring. If you're planning to own a car past 200,000 miles and want to minimize your total maintenance spending over that lifespan, this is the clearest choice available under $15,000. And if you're tired of paying a $5,000 premium simply for a Toyota badge when the Mazda delivers equal or better reliability in real-world ownership, this is your exit from that trap. Who should look elsewhere? If rear passenger legroom is a top 3 priority, The Mazda 6 gives up about 2 inches to the Camry and Accord. It's noticeable if you're regularly carrying adults in the back seat. If you want modern active safety features standard, target 2018 and newer. Earlier years had these features only on higher trims, and if you plan to sell within 3 years, stick with Toyota or Honda. The market hasn't yet priced in how good the Mazda actually is, so resale value hasn't caught up. That's your long-term gain as a buyer right now, but a short-term limitation if you're flipping quickly. The math on the Mazda 6 is about as clean as it gets. Buy it for $12,000 to $14,000, drive it reliably for 150,000 more miles, spend somewhere around $2,500 total on maintenance over that period. There is no better deal in the midsize sedan segment, period. Street price today, $12,000 to $16,000. 13.0 to 1 compression, timing chain, Sky Active reliability. Quick note, if this breakdown is giving you useful, honest information that actually helps you make better car buying decisions, hit subscribe right now. I make videos that go deep on which cars dealerships want you to buy versus which ones actually serve your financial interests long term. Those are very different lists. Car number 1, the best kept secret Toyota Avalon, 2013 to 2018, 4th generation. This is the car. This is the one I've recommended more consistently than anything else over the last 5 years when people ask me point blank, what should I buy? And I'll tell you right now, almost everyone argues with me the first time I bring it up. Almost everyone changes their mind after they actually drive one. Here's the headline that changes everything. This is a full-size car that shares its engine, transmission, and platform with the Lexus ES350. Identical mechanical DNA. Same Toyota reliability as the Camry. More standard features than both. And it consistently sells for $5,000 to $8,000 less than either one. Why? Because the average Avalon buyer is 67 years old. And that demographic perception is enough to make younger buyers walk right past it without a second look. The story that proves it. 2 years ago, a woman in her mid-40s came into my shop. Professional, sharp, doing her homework before making a purchase. She had $18,000 to spend and had been seriously considering Camrys and Accords in that price range. Before she committed, she wanted my honest, unfiltered opinion. I asked her one question. Have you considered the Avalon? She laughed out loud. That's what my grandmother drives. I didn't argue with her. I just walked her out to the parking lot and showed her my personal car, a 2014 Avalon Limited, 188,000 miles on the odometer at that time. I'd bought it at 90,000 miles for $13,500 3 years prior. And at 188,000 miles, my total out-of-pocket repair cost, excluding routine oil changes and tires, was $1,800. That included a full 4-wheel brake job and a new set of struts. The car was immaculate, still is. She bought a 2015 Avalon XLE the following week for $14,200 with 71,000 miles. She texted me 6 weeks ago. She's now at 142,000 miles. 0 mechanical problems, 0. Her exact message to me, why doesn't anyone talk about this car? Let me answer that question with facts. The mechanical reality. The 4th generation Avalon, 2013 to 2018, is mechanically identical to the Lexus ES350 from the same years. Same K platform, same 3.5-liter 2GRF EV6 engine, same 6-speed U660E automatic transmission. They're built in the same factory in Georgetown, Kentucky, on the same assembly line, by the same workers. The Lexus gets slightly upgraded interior materials, real wood instead of wood-grain plastic, slightly thicker leather on the seats. That is genuinely the complete list of differences. Everything else is badge engineering and marketing. The 2GRFE engine is, in my professional opinion based on 22 years of working on engines daily, the most reliable 6-cylinder engine Toyota has ever produced. No direct injection carbon buildup issues because it uses port fuel injection. No timing belt to replace because it uses a maintenance-free timing chain. No turbocharger to fail. It is a naturally aspirated, port-injected V6 that simply runs. I have personally worked on 3 of these engines that exceeded 350,000 miles with their original transmissions. I've heard reliable secondhand accounts from other techs of them reaching 400,000 miles. These are not exceptional cases that make the news. This is what the engine does when you change the oil every 5,000 miles and don't abuse it. The pricing insanity. Now let's look at the pricing, because this is where it becomes genuinely difficult to justify buying anything else if your priority is value and long-term reliability. A 2016 Avalon XLE with 80,000 miles is selling for $14,000 to $16,000 right now. A 2016 Lexus ES 350 with identical mileage, $21,000 to $24,000. You are paying $7,000 to $8,000 extra for a badge and slightly nicer leather. Mechanically, you are buying the exact same car. The same engine, the same transmission, the same suspension components, the same brake rotors, everything. Now compare it against the Camry side, the car most people default to as the safe, reliable choice that everyone recommends. A 2016 Camry XLE V6 with 80,000 miles runs $15,000 to $17,000. More expensive than some Avalons, smaller inside, fewer standard features, less rear legroom. The Avalon isn't just competitive with the Camry on price, it frequently beats it while offering a significantly larger, more refined, more comfortable car. Repair costs are minimal by design. Brake pads on all 4 wheels run about $280 at my shop. Transmission fluid service is $180. A water pump replacement kan $90, which is uncommon before 200,000 miles. Runs around $650 to $750. These are the kinds of numbers that let you own a car for a decade without financial surprises or anxiety. Critical pre-purchase checks. 4 things to verify before you buy. First, VIN recall check. Run the VIN for open recalls, specifically related to dashboard cracking on 2013 and 2014 models in hot climates. Toyota extended warranty coverage on this issue through a warranty enhancement program. Confirm it was resolved before you proceed. If the dashboard has visible cracks and the repair wasn't done, negotiate $800 to $1,200 off the price. That's what the dealer replacement costs. Second, front tire wear pattern. Check the front tires for uneven wear across the tread. If the inside edge is significantly more worn than the outside, the alignment was neglected. It's not a reason to walk away, but it's a reason to negotiate $100 to $150 off and get the alignment done immediately after purchase. Third, test every touchscreen function. The Entune infotainment system on XLE and limited trims can develop sluggish response on higher mileage units. Test every button, every menu, every input during your test drive. Slow response isn't a mechanical concern, but it's annoying and costs $400 to $600 to replace the head unit if you want it fixed. Fourth, seek out older original owners. This is my best insider tip for buying an Avalon specifically. Try to find examples with an older original owner. I mean this sincerely. Older owners garage their cars, follow the maintenance schedule religiously, drive smoothly without aggressive acceleration or hard braking, and tend to keep detailed service records. A car with 65,000 miles owned by someone in their 70s is often in genuinely better overall condition than a 40,000-mile car that spent its life being driven hard by someone in their 30s who viewed it as disposable transportation. With Avalons, the grandma car stereotype is actually your quality filter. This car is built for anyone who spends significant time on highways. The Avalon was engineered specifically for long-distance highway cruising at 70 to 80 miles per hour for hours at a time. The ride quality, the seat comfort, the cabin noise isolation, it's all optimized for that use case. Anyone who wants Lexus-grade mechanical reliability without the Lexus price tag and the Lexus dealership service costs. Anyone who needs genuine room in the back seat for adult passengers on long trips. And frankly, anyone mature enough to buy based on data, engineering, and total cost of ownership instead of what their friends might say about their car. Who should pass? If you're under 30 and social perception matters to you more than financial logic, I understand. The Avalon carries a certain reputation, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. If you want sporty, responsive handling with sharp turn-in and minimal body roll, this isn't that car. The Avalon is tuned for comfort and stability, not canyon carving. And if you're navigating tight urban parking regularly, 196 inches of overall length is a real daily inconvenience worth considering. It's a full-size car. It drives like one. My honest, unfiltered conclusion. After 22 years in this industry, working on thousands of cars, watching engines fail and watching engines run forever, here's what I know for certain. The Avalon is the best used car you can buy under $16,000. It is full size. It is fully equipped with features that cost thousands extra on competitors. It has Toyota reliability proven across hundreds of thousands of miles in real-world ownership. And it is priced the way it is for one reason only: perception. The moment that perception shifts in the market, the pricing will follow. Right now, today, you can buy before the market catches up. If I had to choose one car to drive for the next 10 years with the absolute lowest total cost of ownership and the highest likelihood of never leaving me stranded, I would buy another Avalon without a moment's hesitation. Street price today, $13,000 to $18,000. Lexus E S350 mechanics. Toyota Camry prices, full-size comfort. Now, if you like one of these cars, tell me in the comments and subscribe for more updates.